Alright, I thought this would be an interesting video to make. Oh, this is my gym journey over the past 3 years. There are some things that you guys probably don't know about me. So I wanted to go over some of the mental challenges I've faced. Eating problems, body dysmorphia, and just overall mental problems. I started in a very bad place. And I hope, who knows, maybe the right person can come across this video and be inspired by it. So, I'll touch upon 3 points, right? So the main bit is why I started, you know, what made me start and stuff. Second point, some of the mental challenges I faced with eating and, you know, other things. And then the third bit, what I've learned, discipline, and stuff like that. And we'll touch on content as well because I do want to talk about why I started content. So why I started, I mean, if I'm honest, I started at 53 kilo. I was very underweight. No matter how much food I could eat, um, I never put on any weight. I didn't care what I put in my body. Um, well, I was 15 at the time, but you know, no matter what I ate, I just never put on any weight. And I did want to change, but I didn't really understand the gym the way I did when I started, if that makes sense. So when I started for the first 3 months, it was all jolly, jolly. Oh, I'm gonna go in, lift a dumbbell, maybe do some lat pull down sets. And then July, I saw my first bit of progress, my first real bit of progress in the bicep. And that is where everything changed. Because then I realized, like, holy fuck, I'm changing. Like, I'm not, I won't say I'm not skinny anymore, but I have a direction to prove everyone wrong. I was bullied in school my whole life, primary school, secondary school, by people I know. I was bullied, and it's not a nice feeling, when you walk into your school and you're called a twig, you're called this and that, and people pick up your arms and go, "Oh, look at that toothpick." When people call you victim weight constantly, yeah, it's not very nice. So, you know, for the first 3 months, I was kind of just using that as a place to learn. I mean, wasn't sure how I reveal this information, but I may as well say it. You know, I have autism. I am a bit autistic, so things came more difficult to me than what they did with other people. You know, learning simple things was more difficult for me. And that was a bit difficult. And but I prevailed. I pushed through it. I saw my first bit of progress in July, and then that carried on throughout summer, and then I feel like, was it September? I think that's when I started my first bulk. I'd gained about 10 months of knowledge at that point, so I was pretty knowledgeable. I learned a pretty reasonable amount about the gym. I'd gained a good amount of muscle actually for 10 months, um, and then I had entered my first bulk, and this was probably the worst bulk of all time. Nobody's expecting it to be amazing, but I was tracking everything, every single food I was eating. If I didn't track it, I would freak out. It was an addiction. It was an obsession. It wasn't even like it was an obsession. It was bad. I was in a relationship at this point as well, so every time I would travel to see that person, I would carry all my food, chicken, tuna, chips, everything I needed. I would carry I would carry like 30 pounds of food in my little suitcase. That's how bad it was. But I learned a lot. I did learn a lot, but at the same time, I did discover what body dysmorphia was. Uh, every reflective surface I was looking in, every mirror, every car window, surprisingly, I was looking in, and you know, didn't get any better. It did not get any better. If anything, I think it got worse. The more progress I saw, the more I just wanted to change, and that with that, the body dysmorphia came worse. Now, I think the hardest part for me in the gym wasn't lifting the weights. It was learning everything. You've got to train certain ways and do certain things, and I was told by everyone you've got to do this way to that way to gain that amount. It was a lot to learn, especially from the position I was in, and then the eating as well. I mean, to this day, I still struggle to finish my meals. It's one of those things. So trying to eat 3,500 calories when I don't want to eat at all was probably the most difficult bit. Um, and that definitely hindered my progress. That was definitely one of the biggest mental blockers for me, was just trying to force feed myself with food I didn't want. Um, yeah, trying to just learn how to do all these different things and do all these different exercises. I had bad as social anxiety as being skinny as I was. I had a bad thing with comparing myself to other people. I would look at the people I would train with. I would look at people around me in the gym, and I would be like, I want to be like them one day. You know, every time I looked at myself in the mirror, I want to change one day. I want to be bigger. I want to be stronger. I want to have, I would look at people on TikTok and I'd be like, I want to have a physique like them one day. You get what I mean? So yeah, some of the biggest struggles was never about lifting up a weight, right? Anyone can pick up and lift a dumbbell. Anyone can pick up a dumbbell and lift, right? But some of the hardest things are actually pushing through the mental challenges that are inside your brain, the eating, the learning about how to do everything, the comparison. But, once you push past those things, it might take a while. It might take 3 years. It might take 6 months. It might take 5 years. But once you overcome those mental challenges, you everything opens up. I feel like I'm overcoming all these. I've put on loads of progress. I'm the most confident I've ever been. I can look at myself in the mirror now and be proud of what I've achieved. I don't hate myself anymore. Um, and yeah, a couple of things I just want to go over is, some of the things I've learned over the past 3 years. I've achieved an insane amount of discipline. You know, I I disciplined myself because I felt like it was worth it, and it was. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't vape, I don't smoke weed anymore. I don't attend parties, I don't really socialize with people. To 90% of people in my generation, that will seem boring, but to me, that's fun. You know, to me, trying to work on my goals is fun because I know there is an end goal. Um, I mean, in the past 4 months, I've gained so much confidence from just doing what I've been doing, talking to the camera every day, filming videos, eating clean, hitting the gym. All those things are paying off. Like I said, I'm disciplined. I'm more confident. Um, and overall, I'm a lot more happy about myself. I don't do any bad habits anymore. I'm not relying on anything anymore. You know, I'm not constantly fiending for a vape or a cigarette, or I'm not, it's hit 6 o'clock now, I need to smoke so, I'm not addicted to anything, which feels amazing. Um, Now, why do I still train is the question. I mean, it's pretty fucking simple because I fucking love it. I mean, it's currently 3 p.m. I'm about to finish this video and then go and film the other YouTube video I'm doing. Is my chest day vlog. But I just love it. I don't understand how people don't love training. I'm 3 years in. I'm still seeing progress every week, and it's addicting. It is addicting. I do love getting pumped every time. I love the diet. I love the discipline. I love everything about it. And I've seen people that used to love gym fall off, and it's sad to see, but I love it. I love all of it. But aside from that, I think that touches on the main points, really. I just wanted to get a clearer message across about me, some of the mental challenges I've faced over the past couple of years. Maybe give you more of a clear insight as to who I am, I guess. And yeah. So if you enjoyed this video, please do subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. And thank you all for watching.